Judith Collins, Morena Judith, I hope you're well.
Yes, I am, thank you.
I want to ask you this morning, broadly, do you think the government is heading in the right direction by loosening restrictions in Auckland and transitioning away from the COVID-0 elimination strategy?
Well, I'd say that they should have put in place some of the protections for the public before they moved from the elimination to what is now a containment strategy. So they really should have had in place some of those protections like rapid antigen testing, saliva testing throughout the community, people able to take some responsibility for themselves and to protect themselves. They should also have had the vaccine, let's say the proof of vaccination in place, and they should have been getting more vaccinations done.
So broadly though, you're supportive of the general shift in strategy, would you say?
Well, I think it's an inevitability that the elimination strategy could not survive Delta, and it certainly couldn't survive the very low vaccination rate we had when the lockdown started, which was then 20%.
And now, given that there's a short runway sort of before, till the end of the year, till the Christmas period, you talk about these things that you believe need to be in place. I mean, there's not much time to achieve this. When Christmas comes, do you think the government needs to lift restrictions in Auckland and lift the border?
Which border are you talking about?
The border around Auckland.
Well, hopefully they will be able to well before that, but they need to get the vaccination rates up. We can't continue down this pathway of hoping and praying, but absolutely have nothing much in place. So if you consider things like the vaccination passport or certificate that they're talking about yesterday, this should have been in place a long time ago. The UK's had it since May, EU since June. The Australians are getting it, and now our Ministry of Health IT people have been wheeled out to tell us that they're working on it. I mean, look, I think basically this is almost pie in the sky stuff from the government because they're so late to the party, and their number one thing right now is the vaccinations. Supercharge it.
Given that, I mean, reaching 90% or, these sort of fabled targets that realistically we need to attain in order to provide protection for the community, that's going to be a really hard ask in, the 10 weeks thereafter Christmas, If that's not achieved, would you want to see a lessening of restrictions, or would you be comfortable with restrictions remaining throughout that period?
I don't think they can keep the current restrictions for that long, and I say that because I actually think there's becoming a real weariness and tiredness from Aucklanders around the restrictions, and they're also seeing what they see as different rules for different people. We've got people in Auckland who can't visit family members, but they've got gang members who seem to be able to get exemptions to travel. So what they're seeing is, there is a weariness. So I'm not going to make a prediction 3 months out from Christmas to say, 2 months out from Christmas as it is now, 2.5 months out from Christmas to say, this is what should happen at Christmas, when the government still has a lot more work to do.
Right. So another thing of interest is what are the metrics now that we're working under this emerging strategy? It's not well understood if an outbreak occurs elsewhere outside of Auckland, what the response will be. If we start to see, instead of 20 cases a day, nearly 100 cases a day in Auckland or elsewhere, would you want to see restrictions in place if vaccination rates aren't high enough?
Well, what I'm seeing right now is restrictions in place and COVID still spreading. So clearly what's been happening hasn't been working to the extent that New Zealanders and Aucklanders were promised. So I'm not going to be hypothetical and looking at situations that might or might not happen. But
there is a question of tolerance here, right? How much community spread can we sustain?
Well, that's why we need to have the vaccination rates high. And what we've said to the government is we've put out a 10-point plan. Just do that plan, and then you've got Kiwis home for Christmas. But you can't do that if we continue down this path of we're thinking about, we're working on a vaccination pass, or we're working on this, we're working on that. They need to do everything together, otherwise we're not going to be in this situation of being able to open up that Auckland border and get rid of restrictions, because otherwise it's just a bit here and a bit there.
So
trying to make a cake with just flour.
So Now, reporting this morning that the head of the Waikato mongrel mob has been given permission to travel in and out of Auckland, seemingly, to work with the gang community there. That community has posed a sort of substantial problem throughout this outbreak. What's your response to that?
Well, it's different rules for different people. So is Sani Fatu, for instance, the head of the mongrel mob in Waikato, is he getting tested, negative tests before in and out of the border? Is he having a rapid antigen test at the border? The answer is no, because the government has still effectively banned rapid antigen testing. So look, honestly, we read a story the other day of a father of triplets about to be delivered in Auckland, not being able to travel to be with his wife. He can't get an exemption. We've got family members who can't attend funerals. We've got all of this, and we're seeing the mongrel mob getting exemption, and yet so he can tell people to get vaccinated. Well, while he's there, can he tell them to stop selling methamphetamine? And who has been spreading this virus? When you look at where it is, the epicentres we keep talking about, a lot of it is in the gangs, and actually they've been the spreaders. He's the leader. Why hasn't he stopped it?
In the fight against COVID, though, does it not make sense to bring someone like him in the tent, someone who has influence in that community and could actually do some decent work?
Well, has he done it? Do we see it's not spreading? The fact is it's still spreading in the gangs, so clearly it hasn't worked. And so what we're also seeing is, what's really clear is that the vaccination rollout should have been, particularly around Maori, should have been focused on the whānau ora providers who are right there able to get into places and to get people vaccinated.
A lot of those providers are working on the rollout, aren't they?
Well, the Waiparere Trust say that they have vaccinated 30,000. I thought I read that today. If that is true, then let us get them to do more. Why aren't we doing door-to-door visits? Why aren't we paying doctors, GPs, medical clinics to say, go through their list of patients and say, how many of these people are not vaccinated? Get on the phone to them, then get out to see them if necessary. Why aren't we doing that?
That is occurring now, I'm pretty sure.
Well, is it? I'm not sure that is occurring like that. I'm not sure that GPs are actually doing that. And the answer is because they're busy doing their other things, but they also need to be paid to do it. So why aren't we doing that? And the answer is, I don't think we are.
The vaccine certification sort of system was outlined yesterday by the Prime Minister, basically an online portal that allows a person to prove you're vaccinated or print a hard copy of the certificate if needed. We're not clear yet on the role of vaccine mandates, though. What do you want to see? Do you want to see all government employees, teachers, social workers, anyone working in a government office around the country required to get a vaccine to do their job?
No, I actually think that we need to stick to principles, and the principles are personal responsibility and private property rights. So when you have people being mandated, there needs to be a very, very good reason for them to have to be mandated. Now, if the government is now talking about vaccine passports or certificates, they still haven't got them in place. So how can they even be bothered talking about mandating when someone can't prove whether or not they're actually vaccinated? So,
I mean, it is possible we've had mandates amongst port workers. There's still evidence of whether a person's vaccinated or not through an NHI number. That's provable. This is a system of ease, though.
It takes 20 days, 20 working days to get the Ministry of Health to give you that confirmation. And even then, it's a certificate. So where's the evidence? The point is, we're talking about the cart before the horse. The government is saying maybe December, maybe January next year, these passports, whatever it is.
We need to look ahead, though. Vaccine mandates have proven effective in the US. They're being used by many companies. Would you like to see more widespread use of vaccine mandates in New Zealand?
Well, it depends on the businesses. So you need to, from a legal point of view, go back to what is it that you're protecting against? Obviously COVID. What is the chances of somebody being infected by it? What is, you have to look at the health and safety side. So if the government is being asked by, I see Business New Zealand today or EMA to mandate for businesses that they have to have people vaccinated to take the strain off businesses. The point is the government then going to do it for their own businesses? So, for instance, the government as an employer is the largest employer in the country. It has 10,000 staff in corrections, about 12,000 staff in police. They've got all of these numbers. They're not mandating for themselves. So how is it that they could ask businesses or require businesses to mandate.
So we come back to if you were in government, for instance, would you want to mandate for government employees?
It depends on what business they're in. Are they in those situations where they are at risk or that they could cause risk? That is the point. So you have to go back to the law. If you're going to have the government change the law, they need to have a reason to do it, and then they have to have the vaccine rolled out.
Would early education teachers be, or teachers of primary schools, for instance, be a possible workforce that would require vaccine mandates in that case? Because you can't vaccinate children. Therefore, it could prevent the virus spreading to schools.
It is a possibility, and I understand the government is actually getting some advice on that. This is a big call because you've got no other disease is it mandated to be vaccinated, even though many other diseases can cause death and harm to people. The fact is that the government needs to make a call on this. They have the best public health advice available. They do not share that with us. I think they share as much with us as they share with the media, and therefore what we know is that they're not sharing it. Let them share the information and then we'll tell them how to do their job. We've already given them the 10-point plan that they should be following. We can't actually do their job for them because we're not the government, but I'm happy to tell them what to do once they give us the information.
Thank you, Judith Collins.
Thank you.